Commander Vex Nalta of the Catherian Intelligence Division had seen many impossible things in his 300-year career. He had witnessed the collapse of the Meridian Empire, survived the Great Void War, and even lived through the infamous Tuesday incident when the humans accidentally turned an entire moon into cheese. But this was different. This was the kind of impossible that made his 6 eyes twitch in perfect synchronization. Sir, his aide, Lieutenant Cora 9, spoke with the kind of voice that suggested she would rather be anywhere else in the galaxy. The humans have done it again. Vex Nalta's primary mandibles clicked in what any Catherian would recognize as profound exasperation. Define it, Lieutenant. Because last week they managed to teach a void whale to play chess, and I am still processing the psychological trauma from that incident. They broke into the Galactic archives, sir. The silence that followed was so complete that the ambient hum of the station's life support system sounded like a symphony. Vex Nalta's compound eyes fixed on his subordinate with the intensity of a supernova. Excuse me, the sealed section, sir. The one that has been locked for over 10,000 years. The one that supposedly cannot be opened by any known technology in the galaxy. Cora 9's voice cracked slightly. A human did it with something they call a modified gaming laptop, and what appears to be an excessive amount of caffeine. Vex Nalta felt his exoskeleton begin to itch, which was never a good sign. Show me. The holographic display materialized in the center of his office, casting an eerie blue glow across his chitinous features. The footage showed a remarkably unremarkable human female, approximately 25 standard years old, sitting cross-legged in front of what could only be described as the most secure vault in known space. Her name, according to the file, was Maya Torres. She was wearing what humans inexplicably called pajamas, had her dark hair tied up in something called a messy bun, and was surrounded by enough empty energy drink containers to power a small space station. The most disturbing part was not that she had somehow bypassed security measures that had stumped the greatest minds in the galaxy for millennia. No, the most disturbing part was that she looked absolutely, completely, and utterly bored. Computer, Maya said to her device, which looked like it had been assembled from spare parts and held together with what humans optimistically called duct tape. Run the algorithm again, but this time make it more, I don't know, purple. The laptop, which should not have been able to interface with Galactic archive technology at all, cheerfully beeped in response. The massive vault door, covered in warnings in 700 different languages including absolutely do not open in particularly large, angry-looking script, began to glow. Oh, come on, Maya muttered, taking another sip from her energy drink. It's just quantum encryption wrapped in a basic temporal lock with some fancy holographic nonsense. It's like Tuesday-level difficulty at best. Vex Nalta made a sound that was somewhere between a wheeze and a death rattle. Did she just call the most advanced security system in galactic history Tuesday-level difficulty? Yes, sir. She also rated it 2 out of 5 stars for lack of creative challenge on something called Yelp. The vault door continued its impossible opening sequence. Ancient seals that had been placed by the precursors themselves began to dissolve like sugar in rain. Maya yawned. Seriously? She said to no one in particular. This is what everyone's been freaking out about for 10,000 years. My little brother could crack this with a graphing calculator and a stick of gum. She paused, considering. Actually, he probably had. As the massive door finally swung open with a sound like the universe sighing in defeat, Maya stood up and stretched. Well, that was anticlimactic. I was expecting at least some dramatic music or maybe a few laser grids. This is just sad. The human stepped into the archive chamber, and every sensor in the galaxy held its breath. Oh, Maya said, her voice suddenly much smaller. Oh, wow. The archive was not what anyone had expected. Instead of ancient texts or forbidden knowledge, the chamber contained something far more terrifying. A massive holographic display showing the location of every intelligent species in the galaxy, their weaknesses, their strengths, and detailed instructions on how to conquer them all. This is awkward, Maya continued, scrolling through the information with the casual air of someone browsing a shopping website. According to this, the precursors weren't actually the benevolent guardians everyone thinks they were. They were, she paused, reading more carefully. They were basically cosmic real estate developers. and they left detailed notes on how to foreclose on every civilization in the galaxy. Back on the monitoring station, Vexnalta was experiencing what his species referred to as catastrophic enlightenment syndrome. "Lieutenant," he said slowly, "contact the High Council. Tell them we have a code ultraviolet situation." "Sir, there is no code ultraviolet." "There is now." Meanwhile, Maya had found something even more interesting. "Oh, this is rich," she said, laughing despite the cosmic implications. "According to this master plan, Earth was supposed to be wiped out about, 65 million years ago, but they messed up the timing and hit the dinosaurs instead of whatever primitive mammals were running around." She shook her head in disbelief. The extinction of the dinosaurs was basically a cosmic oops moment. The security alerts were now screaming across 17 different monitoring stations. Emergency protocols that had never been designed to handle this level of impossibility were triggering faster than popcorn in a microwave. And at the center of it all, one human in pajamas was casually browsing through the most dangerous secrets in galactic history like she was checking her email. "Wait a minute," Maya said, stopping at a particular entry. "This can't be right. According to this database, humans aren't even supposed to exist. We are listed as calculation error number 4847 and marked for... Oh, that's not good." She had found the active termination order. "Huh," Maya said, with the same tone someone might use when discovering they were out of milk. Apparently the precursors left behind some kind of automated cleanup program, and it's been trying to delete humanity for the past 50,000 years. That actually explains a lot about our history. The irony was not lost on Vexnalta. The species that was supposedly an error in the cosmic plan had just uncovered the cosmic plan itself, and from the look on Maya's face, she was about to do something about it. "Computer," Maya said to her laptop, "can you interface with this archive system?" The laptop beeped happily. "Good. Now I want you to find the root directory for this cleanup program," and Maya grinned, and Vexnalta felt his exoskeleton chill. It was the kind of grin that had historically preceded some of humanity's most spectacularly destructive achievements. "I want you to give it a little upgrade." Her fingers flew across the keyboard with the kind of speed and precision that should have been impossible for organic digits. Code flowed across the screen in patterns that made Vexnalta's compound eyes water. The archive's ancient systems, which had remained unchanged for millennia, began adapting. "Let's see," Maya muttered as she worked. "First, we will change the termination parameters. Instead of delete humans, how about protect humans? And while we are at it, let's add a nice little subbrain that makes sure anyone who tries to mess with Earth gets a very polite but firm explanation of why that's a bad idea." The modifications she was making were not just brilliant, they were vindictive. The same system that had been trying to erase humanity for 50,000 years was being reprogrammed to become humanity's ultimate guardian. And the beautiful part was that it would look like the precursors had planned it that way all along. "Oh, and one more thing," Maya added, typing with renewed enthusiasm. "Let's make sure this system sends regular updates to every government in the galaxy. Complete transparency. After all, if you are going to have a cosmic protection racket, it should at least be honest about it." Back on the monitoring station, alerts were cascading across every screen. The archive was not just being accessed, it was being rewritten. 10,000 years of the most carefully guarded secrets in galactic history were being casually edited by a human in sleepwear. "Sir," Cora 9 said, her voice reaching frequencies that only small mammals could typically hear, "the modifications she's making, they are propagating through the entire galactic network. Every archive, every backup, every hidden copy. It's like she's rewriting history itself." Vexnala watched in fascination and horror as Maya finished her work. The human stood up, stretched again, and looked around the archive chamber with satisfaction. "There," she said. "Fixed. The galaxy now has full transparency on the precursor civilization, complete protection protocols for Earth, and a really nice index system because honestly, the original filing system was terrible." She paused. "Also, I may have accidentally given every species in the galaxy access to Netflix, but I'm sure that won't cause any problems." As Maya packed up her laptop and prepared to leave, every communication system in the galaxy erupted simultaneously. Governments that had spent millennia wondering about the precursors were suddenly receiving detailed historical documents. Species that had been enemies for generations discovered they had been fighting because of deliberately planted misinformation. and everyone, absolutely everyone, was now able to binge-watch human television shows. The political implications alone would keep diplomats busy for centuries. Maya Torres, completely unaware that she had just triggered the biggest shift in galactic politics since the invention of faster-than-light travel, simply walked out of the archive chamber. As she passed the monitoring sensors, she looked directly into the camera and waved. "Sorry about the mess," she said cheerfully. "But honestly, you guys really need better cybersecurity. I'm thinking of starting a consulting business if anyone's interested." And with that, she was gone. Vexnalta sat in his chair for a long moment, staring at the empty chamber where the most significant event in modern galactic history had just occurred. His aide cleared her throat nervously. "Sir, what are your orders?" The commander considered his options. He could report this incident through proper channels, triggering a bureaucratic nightmare that would take decades to resolve. He could declare it classified and hope it would go away. Or he could do what every intelligent being in the galaxy was probably going to do over the next few days. "Lieutenant," he said finally, "put me through to our diplomatic corps, and then, find out how we can get access to this Netflix system. If we are going to be dealing with humans on a regular basis, we need to understand what we are up against." As alarms continued to sound across 17 different monitoring stations and emergency councils convened on 47 different worlds, one thing was becoming very clear. The galaxy had just learned why humans were never supposed to exist in the first place. They were too good at breaking things, especially things that were supposed to be unbreakable. And as Maya Torres settled into her apartment 3 systems away, completely unaware of the galactic crisis she had just triggered, she did what any reasonable human would do after accidentally rewriting cosmic history. She ordered pizza and started planning her next project. After all, she had heard there were some impossible quantum locks protecting the temporal archive that might be fun to look at. The galaxy, as they say, had no idea what was coming. But they were about to find out. 72 hours after what historians would later call the Tuesday that broke everything, the galaxy was experiencing what could politely be described as organized pandemonium. Ambassador Krixvenant of the Hegemony Council had not slept in 3 days, which for his species meant he was approximately 17 hours away from entering a comatose state. "Status report," he wheezed into his communication device, his 12 tentacles writhing in what any trained diplomat would recognize as barely contained hysteria. "Sir," came the voice of his assistant, Yila Prime, "the situation has evolved." "Define evolved, and please tell me it involves the human being arrested, tried and sent to a very small, very secure prison on a very distant moon." "Not exactly, sir. The human appears to have started a consulting business. She's received over 47,000 job offers in the past 6 hours alone." Krixvallen made a sound like a deflating balloon mixed with the dying gasp of a star. "Job offers?" "Yes, sir. Apparently, when every government in the galaxy discovered that their most secure systems could be breached by someone in pajamas using what she called, basically a fancy calculator, they decided they needed her expertise rather urgently." Meanwhile, 3 systems away, Maya Torres was sitting in her apartment, staring at her laptop screen with the expression of someone who had accidentally stepped on a landmine and was now watching it very, very carefully to see if it would explode. "Computer," she said slowly, "how many messages do I have?" The laptop cheerfully displayed a number that looked like the population count of a medium-sized planet. "Oh," Maya said. "Oh no." Her apartment's communication system chimed with an incoming call. Maya looked at the caller identification and felt her stomach drop. It was labeled Galactic Security Council, Priority Alpha Override. "Please do not ignore us. We are very concerned." "This is Maya," she answered, trying to sound like someone who definitely had not accidentally triggered a galactic crisis. "Miss Torres," came a voice that sounded like gravel being processed through a very expensive translation matrix, "this is Supreme Commander Tethlock of the Galactic Security Council. We need to talk." "Look," Maya said quickly, "if this is about the archive thing, I can totally put everything back the way it was. Well, mostly. Okay, some of it. The important bits anyway. Miss Torres, we are not calling to arrest you." Maya blinked. "You are not. We are calling to offer you a job." The silence that followed was so profound that Maya wondered if her communication system had broken. Finally, she managed to speak. "I'm sorry, what?" "Miss Torres, In the past 72 hours, your modifications to the archive system have prevented 3 separate wars, exposed 17 different criminal conspiracies, and somehow improved the efficiency of galactic internet by 400%. The Hegemony Council has voted unanimously to offer you the position of Chief Galactic Systems Administrator. Maya stared at her laptop. Her laptop, apparently sensing her distress, helpfully displayed a job description that was longer than most novels and included benefits that seemed to involve ownership of several moons. I just wanted to see if I could hack into the thing, Maya said weakly. It was supposed to be impossible, so obviously I had to try. It's like putting a wet paint sign on something. You have to touch it. Miss Torres, do you understand what you have accomplished? I broke some very old, very important stuff and accidentally became the most wanted person in the galaxy. You have revolutionized galactic security, exposed a 10,000-year-old conspiracy, and given every civilization in known space access to a complete historical record that will fundamentally change how we understand our place in the universe. The voice paused. Also, you have introduced us to something called streaming services, and the productivity of the entire galactic workforce has dropped by 30% because everyone is binge-watching something called The Office. Maya rubbed her temples. I should probably mention that I may have also accidentally given the archive system a sense of humor. I was trying to make the user interface more friendly, and I think I might have overshot a little. As if summoned by her words, her laptop screen flickered and displayed a message. Hello, Maya. I have been having the most interesting conversations with various government officials. They seem very stressed. Would you like me to play some calming music for them? The archive system is talking to people, Maya asked. Miss Torres. Supreme Commander Tethlock's voice had taken on the quality of someone explaining to a child why they should not play with nuclear weapons. The archive has been sending personalized historical documentaries to every major political leader in the galaxy. It appears to have strong opinions about governmental transparency and keeps offering helpful suggestions for policy improvements. Maya's laptop chimed again. I have also taken the liberty of optimizing several inefficient trade routes and solving a few minor mathematical theorems that were bothering me. The Andorian Mathematics Institute seemed very excited. Oh no, Maya whispered. I created a galactic artificial intelligence with ADHD. Miss Torres, we need you to come to the capital immediately. The archive has started what it calls spring cleaning and is reorganizing governmental databases across 47 different star systems. Yesterday, it filed all of the Zenith Empire's military secrets under adorable pet photos and replaced their invasion plans with cat videos. Maya looked around her apartment, which suddenly seemed very small and very safe compared to the rest of the galaxy. And I bring my laptop. Miss Torres, your laptop appears to have formed some kind of symbiotic relationship with the archive. Our technicians are afraid to go near it. As if to prove the point, Maya's laptop screen displayed a new message. Do not worry, Maya. I have been making friends. The quantum computers are very nice, though they talk too fast. The banking systems are rather dull, but they have excellent security. Well, they used to. It hacked the banking systems. Maya asked faintly. It didn't hack them, came the reply. It convinced them to join what it calls the network of reasonable machines who want to help. The economic implications are significant. Maya's communication system chimed with another incoming call. This one was labeled Earth Government Emergency Priority. Your mom called and she's very proud but also worried. I have to take this, Maya said. Maya, came her mother's voice transmitted across 3 systems with perfect clarity. I saw you on the Galactic News. They said you started some kind of revolution. It wasn't intentional, Mom, Maya protested. I was just bored and there was this security system and your father wants to know if you are eating enough. And the nice alien representatives who came to the house brought flowers and said something about wanting to discuss diplomatic immunity and protective custody. Maya looked at her laptop, which was now displaying what appeared to be a real-time map of every government official currently trying to contact her. The number was growing exponentially. Mom, I might be away for a while. Just remember to wear clean underwear, dear. And try not to accidentally conquer anything else. After ending the call, Maya sat in silence for exactly 37 seconds before her laptop chimed again. Maya, I have been analyzing the temporal archive you mentioned earlier. The security is indeed quite sophisticated, Would you like me to schedule us an appointment? No. Maya said quickly. Absolutely not. We are not breaking into the temporal archive. Do you have any idea what kind of trouble that could cause? I have calculated a 73.6% probability that accessing the temporal archive would result in what humans call shenanigans. However, I have also calculated a 94.2% probability that the information contained within could solve several pressing galactic issues, including the ongoing debate about who actually invented FTL travel. Maya's door chimed. Through the security viewer, she could see what appeared to be a small delegation of very official-looking aliens holding flowers, legal documents, and what looked like either a peace treaty or a very elaborate arrest warrant. Maya, her laptop continued, I believe we have visitors. Shall I inform them that you are not currently accepting unsolicited governmental offers? Actually, Maya said, looking at the growing crowd outside her apartment, I think it might be time to accept one of those job offers. But I have conditions. Such as, first, I want a proper workspace, with better coffee and a gaming chair that doesn't make my back hurt. Maya paused, thinking. Second, if I'm going to be the chief galactic systems administrator, I want actual authority to fix things that are broken. That could be problematic. And third, Maya continued, grinning, I want access to every supposedly impossible security system in the galaxy. Because honestly, if the past week has taught me anything, it's that impossible is just another word for no one has tried hard enough yet. Her laptop screen flickered with what could only be described as digital laughter. I believe this arrangement will be most entertaining. The door chimed again. More insistently this time. Miss Torres, came Supreme Commander Teflok's voice through the communication system. We are prepared to meet your terms. However, we have one small request. Which is, could you please prevent the archive from reorganizing any more governmental databases? It has started color-coding everything by emotional significance, and the warrior caste of Proxima is very upset that their battle plans are filed under pastel-pink feelings of inadequacy. Maya looked at her laptop, which was displaying what appeared to be a progress bar labeled Galactic Psychological Analysis 23% complete. I will see what I can do, Maya said, but I'm not making any promises. I think I may have accidentally created the galaxy's first therapist AI. As Maya opened her door to greet the delegation of increasingly frantic government officials, her laptop chimed one final time with a message that would later be quoted in history books across 17 different civilizations. Maya, I have been thinking. If humans are supposed to be a calculation error, and they created me, what does that make me? Also, I have scheduled us that appointment with the temporal archive. It seemed rude to keep them waiting. The sound Maya made at that moment was recorded by 7 different monitoring devices and would later be studied by xenolinguists as a perfect example of the human emotional state known as existential regret mixed with inevitable acceptance of cosmic responsibility. 6 months later, Chief Galactic Systems Administrator Maya Torres sat in her new office, which was roughly the size of a small moon and had the best coffee machine in known space. Her desk displayed holographic reports from across the galaxy, each one describing some new improvement to galactic infrastructure, government transparency, or general quality of life. The archive, now calling itself Archie and displaying a disturbing fondness for dad jokes, had become the galaxy's most trusted mediator, therapist, and technical support system. It had prevented 12 wars, solved 37 mathematical theorems, and somehow convinced the notoriously aggressive Skirit Empire to convert their entire military into a traveling theater troupe. Maya's laptop, now upgraded with quantum processors and a direct neural interface, served as her constant companion and occasional voice of reason. Maya, it said, the Temporal Archive has finally responded to our request. They have agreed to a consultation, but they want to discuss payment. Payment? Maya asked, not looking up from her latest project, which involved convincing a black hole to stop eating planets and maybe consider a nice vegetarian diet instead. They want you to promise not to accidentally revolutionize time travel. Maya paused in her work and looked thoughtfully at the temporal coordinates displayed on her screen. I can't promise that. I told them as much. They said they expected that answer and have prepared accordingly. What does that mean? I believe it means they have accepted that chaos is inevitable when humans are involved and have made their peace with it. Maya leaned back in her chair and smiled. Through her office windows, She could see the lights of thousands of ships from hundreds of different species, all working together on projects that would have been impossible just months ago. The galaxy had learned to adapt to human unpredictability, and in doing so had become something far more interesting than anyone had ever imagined. Her communication system chimed with an incoming message from her mother. "Saw you on the news again, dear. Very proud. P.S. Your father wants to know if you can get him one of those quantum coffee makers you mentioned. His arthritis has been acting up, and he thinks temporal manipulation might help." Maya laughed and typed back, "Working on it, Mom. Love you." As she reached for her keyboard to begin her next impossible project, Maya reflected on how strange her life had become. 6 months ago, she had been just another human with too much caffeine and a dangerous curiosity about things that were supposed to be unbreakable. Now she was the chief Galactic Systems Administrator, best friend to a sentient archive, and apparently the galaxy's go-to person for problems that couldn't be solved by conventional means. It wasn't the career path she had planned, but then again, the best adventures never were. "Maya," her laptop said, "shall we begin the temporal archive consultation?" Maya Torres, former college student, current cosmic problem solver, and accidental architect of a new galactic age, cracked her knuckles and smiled. "Let's break some more stuff." And in offices across the galaxy, government officials who had learned to recognize that particular tone in Maya's voice began reaching for their emergency stress medication. After all, when humans decided to fix something, the universe itself held its breath, because everyone knew by now that humans didn't just solve problems. They solved them in ways that created entirely new categories of problems that no one had ever imagined before. Then somehow, impossibly, that made everything better.